Welcome back, toy fans, to episode 218 of Reynolds Reviews. On today's video, we've got some general pickups to look at. Cue the match. Welcome back, everyone. Now, like I said in the intro, today we have got some general pickups to look at. Now, it's not often that I do just a general pickups video. Usually there is a theme or something that I'm featuring on the channel. It's not often I do just general pickups, but over the last sort of few weeks and months, I've picked up some really nice things, some from friends, others from places like eBay. So today we're going to go through them all and just see what I'm adding to the collection room this week. So let's get to it.
The fun is back, oh yes siree. It's the 2600 from Atari. It's the video system with classics galore, from Space Invaders to cars that roar. A real hip joystick controls the screen. Solaris is hot and Midnight Magic's mean. And one more thing, it's got a special low price, under 50 bucks. 50 bucks? Now isn't that nice? The fun is back, oh yes siree. It's the 2600 from Atari.
And there we go, folks. Now, you will have already guessed due to the commercial that I've just shown you, but one of the first pickups that I've grabbed in the last few weeks is this beautiful Atari 2600 Junior. Now, this isn't something that I was sort of necessarily chasing or looking to pick up, but every so often on eBay I do general searches, sort of retro games, consoles, games, things like that, and this popped up in my feed, and it only had like sort of 12 hours to go maybe, and it was on £2.50 when I spotted it, and I thought, you know what, they usually go for a lot more, maybe around 50, 60. I'll just stick that in my watch list and just see what it does. It's my first console that I ever had as a kid, so there was a connection there, there was a nostalgia connection to it, and I thought, I'll just see what it does. It was complete, it was working, it showed the power working, it showed you a couple of images on screen. I haven't actually tested it yet, but I'm confident it will work. And I just thought, you know what, I'll watch and see what it does. But I absolutely love this thing. I think it displays great. And so I just sort of stuck it in my watch list, and then I came back to it the next day. I got my 14-minute warning on eBay, and it was still on £2.50, and I thought, you know what, just as a display piece, I don't think I'll even ever play it, just as a display piece, it'll look great. And it got down to around 30 seconds, and I think I chucked on a tenner, and would you believe, I picked this up for £6.50, and at that price I don't care if I never play it. It displays beautiful, and I just thought I want it in my collection. Like I said, there is a connection to it, my first ever games console, and I just thought it would just be nice to own one again. But look at this thing. So as you can see, we've got, I don't actually know what this is. I don't know if this is a game with all these, a games cartridge with all these games on it. I'm not quite sure. Somebody will jump in the comments and tell me, but I got it with this game. I got the console, as you can see, I got the power pack, which I haven't put on the table. I've got the single button joystick, which I'm sure we all remember, but look at this console. I love this thing. I love how it looks. I just love this chrome section across the middle. You can see that lovely rainbow stripe. I just think it looks fantastic. Displays really, really well. Then, of course, that very recognisable and very famous Atari logo in the middle. And I just love this thing. And I thought, you know what? I'll chuck a tenner on it. I'm happy to pay that, even if I never play it, which I don't think I will, because when I look at sort of playing vintage games, I'm more into my Mega Drive games. Anything before that, I mean, I generally don't think, I mean, even though I have a huge nostalgia connection to this, I don't actually think I'd enjoy the games these days, because they weren't very good. But what I do recall, two of my favourite games when I was a kid, when I remember playing this, one was Millipede. I remember loving Millipede and spent a long time on Millipede, but probably my favourite game was Pitfall. I absolutely loved Pitfall, and I think I remember playing it with this mind of, it reminds me of Indiana Jones. I think that's why I loved it as a kid, because it was very Indiana Jones, sort of swinging over canyons and jumping over snakes, but I loved it. So really happy to add an Atari 2600 to my collection. It displays great, and yeah, so pleased to get it. But that wasn't the only thing I got. Like I said, we've got a few things to get through, so I'm going to fly through them. So let's jump into the next few things I picked up. And there we go, folks. So the next pickups are vintage Toys Madballs. So again, a toy from the mid-80s, massively fond of these. Not something I was sort of looking to pick up maybe a year ago, and then I don't know what it was. I just saw them again, and I would love to get some Madballs. Not cheap though. You look on the secondary market, even loose, they can bring sort of £50 to £60. Some characters even more, depending on what you want, because like most toy lines, certain characters seem to bring a bit of a premium. These are no different, but I managed to pick these two up in the last couple of months. So big shout out to Adam Berry, because Adam Adam knew the seller, and he told me that he's got a couple of Madballs. Are you interested? I said I was. They were in good condition, and he said, I can get you them for this price, and he got me a really good deal, so thank you, Adam. But you may notice that I've got one with the head sat on top of the neck like that, and the other one with the head snapped down. Now, I will go more into that in a second, but I will just tell you a little bit more about them first. So this one is skull face. Really pleased to get this one. Just one that looks really, really cool. Obviously, pretty self-explanatory. You can see all the bones, so it's essentially a skeleton. And then, of course, you've got the skull face. I just think it is so cool. Obviously, the eyes are a little bit sort of paint worn there. But again, I try not to mess around with these because they are going a bit grubby, but if you try and clean them off, then you pull the paint off and things like that. I have done a little bit of touch up on these teeth just to make them look nice and white again. But yeah, this looks great, this guy. Absolutely love him. I'm really pleased to get him into my collection. So the other one is Bruise Brother. And again, a really good example. Missing a bit of paint on his nose, but I really love that guy. I mean, if you get these in the packaging, they do bring a pretty penny. But yeah, really pleased to get these, and definitely plan to pick up some more once I can find them at the right price. £50–60 for me for a loose figure is a little bit too much, so hopefully I can get some more bargains. But there's various ones to collect. I'm trying to think, maybe 10 or 12. I might be wrong there, but something around that number. So not a huge line, but like I said, depending on who you pick up, they can be expensive. But yeah, really pleased to get these into my collection. Like I said, hopefully I'm going to pick up a few more going forward. I'm sure I will. So let me explain why I've got one with the head sat up on top of the neck like that and the other one pushed down. Now, I actually display both of these figures like this. I've just snapped that one down just to show you that they do work and they do function. They both work fine. But what you'll know is, if you own any of these Madballs, you'll know that when you snap the head down, because the heads are quite heavy, the spring that is inside these figures is really strong. And when you snap the head down, the head and the clip, especially under the neck there, is under immense pressure. It's under huge amounts of tension. And these clips often break. Now, if you find these Madballs on eBay for cheap, the chances are the neck clip is broken because they are under immense pressure, and I want to try and preserve that clip. So I actually display them like this. Now, I know they don't look as good because the head is sat on top of the neck, but I want to preserve that clip. And every so often, this one especially, that one, Bruise Brother, is fine, but Skull Face tends to hold for 2 or 3 days, and then all of a sudden you'll hear a bang upstairs and his head has flown off. The clip is still intact, and I want to preserve it. So I actually display them both like this, just to preserve that clip, and I think I'll do that going forward if I get any more. But yeah, there we go. We've got 2 vintage Madballs into the collection, but we're not done there, folks. Let's move on. Okay, and there we go, folks. So the third thing that I've added in recent months is a vintage Rancor. Now, I've got to give a massive shout out to our Nick over at APC Action Popcast, because that's where this came from. Nick got in touch with me one day. He was having a little bit of a clear out, and he said, "Are you still missing a vintage Rancor?" I said, "I am." He said, "Well, look, I'm looking to move mine on. I'm happy to give you it at this price." And the price he offered me at, to be fair, I felt I should have been wearing a black and white stripy top and a mask. It was an absolutely unbelievable price. Crazy price, in fact. I kind of felt I was having his pants down, but he was insistent he was happy with it. And once we agreed that price, I bit his hand off. So yeah, here we go. We have now got a vintage Rancor in the collection. It's crazy to think how long I've been collecting Star Wars and everything that I've got in this room. I've been without this guy for some time. But as you can see, he's a lovely example. The only thing is this leg joint is a tiny bit loose, so he tends to lean to the right. Now, at any given moment, he could fall, so I'm not going to handle him too much. But as you can see, his teeth are intact. Often teeth are broken on Rancors, but this guy is looking in great shape. His mouth action works. I'm going to see if I can just do that. He wants to fall. Look, let me just see if I can show you his mouth action. There we go. His mouth action works. That is often broken as well. And sometimes you even find them on eBay with missing limbs and things like that. So I'm really pleased to get this into the collection. It's a wonderful example, and I'm looking to try and make some sort of diorama with my Jabba's playset now. I don't know if I can do it, but yeah, really pleased to get this into the collection. So once again, thank you, Nick. Again, I can't believe the price you offered me this guy at, but I really do appreciate it. I'm extremely grateful. And we have now got a vintage Rancor in the Star Wars collection. So yeah, really pleased to add that into the collection room. And we've got one more thing to show you that I'm even more happy to get. And there we have it, everyone. Now, this guy, I am absolutely ecstatic to get into my collection. So if you know me and you follow the channel, you will know that I am a massive, massive fan of Mattel's Brave Star line. And this is 3030. And that's Brave Star's trusty companion, his talking horse, who often helps him out when he's in a little bit of trouble or he's in a fight. 30-30 often helps him out, and he transforms into human mode, so he stands up on his back legs and joins the fight with Brave Star, often with his trusty blaster, Sarah Jane. And this guy is wicked, and one of the main reasons why I'm so happy to get this guy in my collection is not just because he can be quite difficult to get, certainly difficult to get complete, as you can see mine isn't, but I will go into that in a second. He's so pricey on the secondary market. Now, of course, I got this at a fantastic deal. Obviously, we all know who I'm going to say I got this from. This is from Steve, better known as Derby Collector. Offered me this at a great price. Got it in, it was in bits. I think it was missing one part of his leg. He managed to secure another bit of his leg, put it together, and then he agreed a price with me. Fantastic price as well, as it always is with Steve, and he sent me this, so I'm so pleased to get it into my collection. So like I said though, he is missing some bits, so he should have another foothold on there. He has got one on this side. I've got to be delicate with him because his legs can be a little bit loose, so he's got one bag there. There should be another one on this side. I've got his trusty blaster, Sarah Jane, but again, it is missing an end. It should have a little extended end piece on there. But to be honest, I don't mind, because I'm going to sit this in the holster, and when it hasn't got the end piece on, it actually sits better in the holster. It ends up here when it's got the end piece on. So I will get the end piece, but like I say, I've got to get the foothold there as well. I've got to get his headgear and his reins. I am in negotiations with that with the seller at the moment, and then he's got 2 saddlebags which should come with him as well. So I have got a few pieces to get, but I'm just so pleased to get him into my collection. He's an amazing character, in fantastic condition as well, and I'm just so pleased to get this guy. And I love Brave Star's line, and I'm quite close now to completing it. Like I say, I do need some accessories and bits for this guy, as a couple of other figures as well. But how wicked is this guy? Now, he does stand up on his hind legs like in the show, but his legs are a bit delicate, and I don't really want to do it and mess around with him on camera, so I will show you how he stands up in an overlay. Now, obviously, with it being an action figure, or essentially an action figure, in the cartoon he looks like a human once he transforms onto his back legs and he starts fighting, whereas obviously very difficult to make that, transform that into an action figure. So when he's up on his back legs, he still basically just looks like a horse stood on his back legs, but obviously it's to give the illusion that he's transformed and he's fighting with Brave Star. But I just love this guy, and so pleased to get him into my collection. But yeah, wow, how awesome is he? So yeah, getting there with my Brave Star collection now, not far off completing the line. Like I said, I need a few bits for this guy and a few accessories, but you all know that I've got a complete and in-box Fort Kerrium, so yeah, absolutely loving Brave Star. So thank you again, Steve. I absolutely love this guy. Okay, so let's get everything back on the table and we'll wrap up, folks. So there we go, folks. I hope you agree. In the last few months, I've not done bad. I've picked up some real gems there. So all that's left to say is, again, massive thank you to the people that helped me acquire these items. So big shout out to Adam Berry. Adam, thank you for helping me out with the Madballs, mate. You gave me a great deal on those. So yeah, very happy to get them in the collection, so thank you for that. Massive shout out and thank you to our Nick over at APC. Thank you, Nick, for sorting me out with the Rancor. Again, if you don't know Nick's channel, folks, check it out. Action Podcast does some great stuff on there. Does a fantastic podcast with our Dave over at Monkey Boys Toys. I will leave a link to both channels in the description, so make sure you check them out. Nick and Dave, I'm sure, will be happy to have you. They do a fantastic podcast as well. If you subscribe to the channels, you will get notifications about that as well. Obviously, we've got the Atari 2600 unit in the middle. Love that thing. Really pleased to get that in the collection. And what a price. Amazing bargain on that. And then a massive thank you. It feels like I thank him all the time. To our Steve, better known as Derby Collector, for picking me up 3030. Love that guy. He's beautiful. Can't wait to get the extra bits for him. And I'm so pleased to get him into my collection. So like I said, check out the description. I will leave any YouTube channels and Instagram pages, because Adam and Steve have got great Instagram pages. I will leave links to those in there as well, so make sure you check them out, folks. But yeah, there we go. Hope you enjoyed it. Bit of a different video this week. Like I said, not often I do pickups, but I don't think I've done bad in the last few months. So yeah, there we go, folks. If you're new to the channel, thank you for stopping by and giving me a shot. I hope you'll consider leaving a like and subscribing. And if you're my existing viewers and existing subscribers, I know I say it all the time, folks, but I really do appreciate your continued support. Please feel free to leave a comment in the comment section. I always try to read everyone's comments and get back to everybody. And as always, keep collecting. I'll see you next time.